Villainous lovers, this video is for you. I mean, hopefully there's been a lot of villainous videos that you're like, yes, this is for me. But today, friends, we are going to build a starter pack and I am so excited. Hello friends, happy Wednesday, so very excited that you're here. The last time I did a month-long event of sorts was my retro shoujo manga that we were doing, I don't know what month, but we were doing that, and I did a retro starter pack here if you'd like to check out that video. We're going to do the same thing that we did there in this video, just a whole bunch of villainous manga, villainous manhwa, and even a touch of anime and light novel. I'm really excited. Just as I did then, I'm going to show you what the graphic looks like that has all of the 6 categories. Yes, because I have to have an extra one. But yeah, all the 6 categories. And then we will go through individually of what each title is so that you can definitely know. Everything is in English. I do have, I think, like 2 different anime covers that are the Japanese, or they have Japanese on them, not the English title on them, mainly because I just preferred these covers instead. Also, it just looked easier for the template that I'm using to use that. So yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if you are a new Villainous fan or you've been reading Villainous manga titles for years. I truly hope that you have fun building this starter pack to help other people and maybe just see sort of what your favorite is. And I will just say that for the majority of titles that are on my graphic, I used a randomizer, and this randomizer, like when I was busy making the graphics for this video specifically, I was like, I did not go through this very well because your girl's gonna be struggling today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Here is the Villainous starter pack. We have 6 different categories. The first being under the radar. Then please print it already. In the mood for a villainous anime. Second chances are a blessing. Must read manhwa. Want the light novel instead. So I try to encompass a little bit of everything, like I said, with the anime and the light novels, to just bring hopefully it all together, because you know I wanted to make sure I include manhwa because I love manhwa in general, but I do specifically really enjoy villainous manhwa a lot. So are you ready to jump right in for our first category, under the radar? So we have 5 different titles here, and this one I was trying to think of, okay, I don't really see anybody talking about this, and so going from left to right, we have The Villainess's Guide to Not Falling in Love. Oh gosh, that font is so tiny. If I remember right, it says I was reincarnated as the villainess in an otome game, but the boys love me anyway. Then we have The Villainess Stands the Heroes. I can't read the small little subtitle font. And then we have If the Villainess and Villain Met and Fell in Love, which I'll be doing a video review of this upcoming Friday, so please stay tuned for that. And then lastly, we have Cross-Dressing Villainess Cecilia Sylvie. Ooh, this is a tough one, honestly. I've read all of these, but the cross-dressing one, I've heard very strong things from a good friend of mine. I truly don't know what I want to go with. I don't think I'm gonna go with If the Villainess and Villain Met and Fell in Love. I love that one a lot, but I feel like it is a little bit more popular than I anticipated since it did win my Villainous event for titles I would read and review on my channel. I'm really leaning towards The Villainess's Guide to Not Falling in Love. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this one. Yes, I did, with the Black Lily when it came to male leads. They're my favorite in villainous titles. I feel like this series is super under the radar, mainly because it starts off with I think her name's Luciana. She gets reincarnated to this otome game. She knows that she's in the body of the villainess, and so she's sort of gonna wants to make just things smooth sailing, not have anything bad happen, but she's remembering things in the game where she's like, oh, this is pretty detrimental. Like, she actually finds out something specifically about a family member that is related to the Black Lily, and she wants to avoid that happening to him despite that he has treated her really not nicely in the beginning. I love how just, especially in volume 1, she makes a comment where she's like, this is no longer a game. These people are real. They have real feelings, real worries, and real concerns, and so she treats this game as real life, and I was so mind blown by that. I recently read volume 4, and it just reminded me of how much I love this series. It is really incredible writing and how it pulls at all of these emotional heartstrings and how you have a lot of action that's happening. And right now we have some really high stakes, which is not uncommon in villainous manga since usually these villainesses have their life on the line. But there is a different different kind of stake where she's more concerned about the people around her than her life as her own. She's a little bit airheaded, which I think I mentioned in that male lead video, but she really gives her all, and I think it's an interesting take of her viewing this game as real life and adopting it sort of as her own, which maybe is not too far out there because there's another series we'll talk about later that I'm thinking of that came to mind, but I'm gonna go with that one. I feel like it deserves so much more love and time and attention. I've really have enjoyed it, and I sort of put it on hold, and then I came back and I'm like, oh man, I am locked in. It is awesome. For the next category, oh man, please print it already. There's so many digital titles that could have fallen under this. I don't even remember how I decided to go about this. I think I'm pretty sure I used a randomizer as well. But from left to right, we have My Observation Log of My Fiancé Who Calls Herself a Villainess, How to Win My Husband Over, May I Ask for One Final Thing, I Will Become the Villain's Poison Taster, and The Perks of Being a Villainess. Now, let me tell you, okay, I have read the first three. When it comes to the Observation Log of My Fiancé, I actually read the first three chapters, and this is fantastic. We have an anime coming of this. I haven't talked about any anime in the past 2 weeks for my manga news video, but I promise we're going to talk about it when it comes because there was some new information that dropped. I'm very much looking forward to this because the first three chapters were absolutely hilarious. How to Win My Husband Over is one of my most desired manhwa licenses that I would love to see printed. I've read the first three chapters, I believe, on Tapas. I have heard it gets darker, and I wouldn't say it was super dark in the beginning, but it was hard. It was not a fluffy, feel-good kind of opening at all. And I have seen spoilers for this series, so I feel this is a series I would deeply love. I am genuinely shocked, mind blown, that we do not have this physically printed by any publisher. I have been hoping that Eyes Press would come in clutch as my #1 manhwa provider and give us this series, but they have not yet. May I Ask for One Final Thing? I did a review on the first 3 volumes. I reread those volumes. I loved what I read of this so incredibly much. I need to watch the latest episode of the anime because this weekend was a little bit busier than I anticipated, so I have not seen it, but oh, it was so good. It's been so good. So the decision between just these 3 is really hard, honestly. But these other 2 I hadn't actually heard of, and so I went to go look up I Will Become the Villain's Taste Tester because I kept seeing both of these actually kept popping up when I was looking for villainous titles. This one is on Webtoons. I think it might be on Tapas as well, but it's about a young woman who gets reincarnated or isekai into this world, and she knows that she is the villainess, and she knows that she's supposed to, I think, die at the hands of these assassins who end up poisoning her. Wanting to avoid that, she realizes something happens. She realizes now, though, that she can actually taste these poisons and knows the difference between them. She ends up outing herself to the good guys who don't want anything to deal with her now, ends up going to the villains. I know this is a romantic series. When I was getting my game ready for the Kiss, Marry, Avoid, let me tell you, I loved everything I was seeing with that male lead, and I was like, should we add a 3rd webtoon to my weekly lineup that I need to read? Because I am loving everything I've seen with this one. It seems really good, but The Perks of Being a Villainess, I have heard about this one before, and I've heard really good things about it, but I had no idea what it's about until when I went to go film this video, because I'm like, well, I gotta say what it's about just so people have an idea. Well, I guess I wouldn't have to because I wasn't planning to go in depth for all of these series, but I just didn't know anything about these specifically. But what makes The Perks of Being a Villainess seem awesome to me is when she's in her life in Korea, things were not going well. Things were just pretty horrible. It was a very miserable life, and then she gets reincarnated, and now she is in the body of the wealthiest villainess that is around. And so she's using, I guess, her money to avoid all of that, or like to avoid like her downfall, because she finds out she has to go to a monastery. And she's like, absolutely not gonna use my perks as a villainess to avoid that. It sounds so fun. So honestly, I want all 5 of these, but if I really had to choose one, I truly think it's gonna come down to May I Ask for One Final Thing, an Observation Log. I think I'm gonna go with, though, May I Ask for One Final Thing because I've actually read 3 volumes of this, and I do feel it's a series I would come back to and read not just digitally, but read physically, because that is just how much of a blast this series is. But Observation Log is a very quick second. I like the male lead a lot from what I read in those first 3 chapters, and how he is just rolling with it with his girl. I mean, she comes out right from the first page telling him, hey, I'm the villainess in this game. I know you're gonna choose somebody else, but I'm gonna do everything I can to help set that up as the actual villainess. But then she comes to him. She knows her mother's supposed to die from an epidemic that's happening. She wants wants him to help change things so that doesn't actually happen. He takes her word for it because she's like, I know this is a game and how it's supposed to work, or a novel or whatever, so she knows the plot points basically. Well, he ends up actually taking her seriously, and there is a real epidemic that happens, and her mother doesn't end up dying. And so she runs to him like, what did you do? And all the man did was take her seriously. What makes that one funny too is she is so determined to live out this villainous route that she's trying to get her father to become a villain for like a whole year. She like writes a book, gives it to him, illustrates it so he knows who he has to talk to lead to his downfall. But he doesn't want to do that because originally, I think it was like when he's supposed to become a villain, it's when his wife dies, but his wife doesn't die. And so it was just, there's a lot of great things with that one. So I'm gonna lock in though for May I Ask for One Final Thing, since I definitely know I really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully I'm not regretting not choosing Observation Log. I mean, I'm not, because they're all good. I mean, I'm assuming the other two are, but yeah. We just, please put all these already, somebody, like, please, please, please. For the next category, it is in the mood for a villainous anime. And I did include two different villainous anime that are ongoing, with the first being The Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainess, and then My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History, Endo and Kobayashi Live. I think it's the latest of the Tundra Villainous. And then May I Ask for One Final Thing. Now, looking at this, because I did not prepare my answers beforehand, so they'd be nice and fresh and real with you guys, I should have gone with Observation Log, and maybe we'll just quickly rewind. Let's do Observation Log, because I am hands down saying May I Ask for One Final Thing for anime. The only actually other villainous anime I've chosen or have watched, I mean, is The Most Radical Last Boss Queen, but it didn't win on my randomizer to be included, so I'm gonna go with May I Ask for One Final Thing. I think that is, you don't even have to love villainous manga to get into the show. We just love seeing our punchy villainous kick everybody's butt, taking down these evil nobles. I mean, it is so perfect and great and awesome, and I really have loved the direction that they have gone with the anime. It has been so incredibly good. Yeah, I feel like that was an easy pick for me, but I feel bad because I haven't technically watched any of the other ones. I need to read or watch My Next Life as a Villainess, because I feel like that's the sort of gateway for many villainous anime fans, is through this anime specifically. And I've heard great things about Endo and Kobayashi. I don't know a lot of people that watch either The Dark History or I'll Become a Villainess. I haven't seen many people talk about those, but yeah, it's sort of funny that I forgot this was the next category, and that I did May I Ask for One Final Thing get printed, and then this one. So yeah, so we're changing my answer to the Observation Log, even though again I want all of them printed. So that is what I would choose for if you're in the mood for a villainous anime. It's just good. Please go watch it if you haven't already. The next category is Second Chances Are a Blessing. I'm gonna tell you right now, apparently this is one of my favorite tropes that comes with villainous manga, manhwa, of the categories named that because these are time loop kind of series, so they're given a second chance at life again and able to change things. But let's go from left to right, seeing the titles we have. Tear Moon Empire, Seventh Time Loop, The Villainess Turns the Hourglass, I Swear I Won't Bother You Again, and The Condemned Villainess Goes Back in Time and aims to become the ultimate villain, I think is what it says right there, the purple, which I just did a video review actually of that last Friday. I have read all of these, but The Villainess Turns the Hourglass, I'm so sad it did not win my villainous fit for me to do a guaranteed read and review. I am still wanting to, for sure. Please know that for fans of the series. But y'all, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to choose. From what I've read, I love all of them for very different reasons. I mean, I have a video review of the first two volumes, I think, of Tear Moon Empire, talking about how I gave this series a second chance because I really didn't like Mia in the beginning, and I felt like everybody had blinders on or rose-tinted glasses, and I'm like, no, this girl's horrible. Now I'm a huge fan of the series. I have been collecting it. I rearranged my manga, so I don't have it down here, but I love it a whole bunch. It's great, and Seventh Time Loop is very, very good. I've actually seen this anime, and I loved it. It's another good one if you're looking for some political intrigue, it's some action, it's some romance, it's a little bit of everything. Very, very good manga. I Swear I Won't Bother You Again. I think I just talked about this. Yes, I did in that male lead video because I talked about Yulin, who's one of my favorite male leads in villainous manga. I've actually read the final volume of the light novel thanks to my friend Gary gifting me a copy, and I love the series. It is so good. Very fluffy, though the light novels aren't as fluffy. Not at all. So just be mindful of that, but the manga is. And The Condemned Villainess, Claudia. is amazing. I mean, she reminds me so much of Penelope, my best girl from Villains Are Destined to Die. I admired her so much and how strong she was, and I'm just like, I don't know how to decide this. I don't know how to decide this. I don't feel that Tear Moon Empire would be my first choice for this, despite that I think if you like comedy, this one does have an anime. My husband watched it and really enjoyed it. He's actually part of the reason why I gave this series a second chance. But yeah, if you need a lot of comedy and you like seeing hopefully we'll see Mia grow up, because I know we do in the light novels, which are digitally available from J Novel Club. I can't remember if Yen Press is printing those. I know they're printing the manga though. But yeah, if you want some comedy, that would be a really good one. Seventh Time Loop, I'm not caught up on, so I'm hesitant to choose that one for this category, despite that there's many moments with Rishi I really love. Like, I like the romance in that series, but Rishi as a heroine is fantastic. Like, she is definitely one of my favorite heroines here that's featured. And I cannot remember the heroine's name for nothing this morning. If I swear I won't bother you again. I feel my heart is going towards that one because I just love the ending of this series and seeing how many obstacles that Violetta, of how many obstacles that she's overcome to get where she does at the very end. But at the same time, Claudia, like, I was so blown away by her story. I just thought she was so fantastic. And even though I wasn't overly a huge fan in the beginning of Prince Sylvester, I'm definitely on that hype train now, though, that I feel like hesitant to not say one or the other because I like them both for different reasons. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. I didn't realize how hard this category would be until I was looking at it and putting it together. I was like, how am I supposed to choose? Because I just chose these because I knew they were time loop, or they had that time loop trope. I think I'm gonna go with I Swear I Won't Bother You Again. I think I'm gonna follow my heart on this one, even though I'm like, Claudia's right there, and I'm like, I don't want to do that to beautiful Claudia, but I feel like Violetta has really had my heart, because even though the manga volumes come out so slow, it is one that I look forward to each and every time we get a release, so I'm gonna lock it in with I Swear I Won't Bother You Again. Thankfully for this next category, it's not quite that hard because that was brutal on my heart. And yeah, we're gonna go with must read manhwa, and we have the full English cover is not ready yet, but that is not your typical reincarnation story, coming from Eyes Press next February. Very excited. Villains Are Destined to Die, Not So Wicked Stepmom, which I have a video review coming soon of that one as part of the Villainess event. Kill the Villainess, and Master Villainess, The Invincible. Right now, I can tell you right off the bat, Villains Are Destined to Die, hands down, #1 manhwa. I've talked about it so much on this channel. In fact, in the video that I filmed of a Villainous series for every reader, I talked about it once again about it is my like all-time favorite manhwa, favorite villainous story. I love Penelope so much, but it did hurt my heart to not choose Not Your Typical Reincarnation Story, because I deeply enjoyed that one. In fact, I finally just caught up yesterday on the like past 3 episodes, so there's a new one now as of this video going live, but I finally caught up on it. We're in the epilogue. I think it's almost done, and I'm just not ready. It's such a moving and powerful story. I honestly cannot wait to get this in print. I will definitely be rereading. Kill the Villainess, I need to catch up on. Master Villainess, I've heard so many great things about this. If you enjoy like martial arts story, and Not So Wicked Stepmom, I actually have read, but I'm not up to date, and I'm very interested and excited to see how my feelings are going to be coming back to this, because I don't know why at the time I stopped reading. I feel like it was an issue of just not the right time, and I really feel like I am going to, after rereading the library copies, I'm going to really regret that I sold my original set. I have this feeling in my heart. I just have this feeling in my heart. So not going to gap too much about why I love Villains Are Destined to Die, because I've done it in so many other videos. Honestly, I just need to have like an actual video review and then be like, okay, go see this video, you'll know why. Because it's scattered throughout on this channel. But yeah, the closest video I could say that of a recent one is that one that I linked up in the corner. And for our last category, shout out to my friend Being Queenie. I actually did this one in honor of her because she's one of the biggest light novel fans that I know. She is always promoting them, always encouraging other other people to read them. And so I was like, you know, I want a light novel category. So I want the light novel instead. From left to right, we have I'm the Villainess, so I'm taming the final boss, The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen, My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down History, and Villainess Level 99. Fun fact, that actually does have an anime, and we do get the manga physically from One Piece books. I actually even have a first impression on this channel. I feel like the contender is between I'm the Villainess, so I'm taming the final boss, and The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen. I have mentioned before that I really have wanted to get the light novels for The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen, mainly because it stopped early with the manga that we have in English. Like, I know there is a reboot, I guess you would say, of the manga in Japan, but for this one, the manga I have, and I have the shoujo quiz of it coming out tomorrow, I really have loved this series. Like, the manga is so special and amazing. I have a video review on all 3 volumes, and I would love to continue to see Pride's journey and where she goes from where the manga ended, because she has such this huge heart where she tells people, like in her close realm of influence, especially like the 2 guys on the cover here, she tells them, if you ever see me doing evil, doing wrong by our people, take out my life immediately so that I do not harm anybody, because the original villain, OG Pride, she was awful and would hurt anyone and everyone and didn't care what she did. She took glee and happiness from seeing other people's pain. And so the new Pride here that we follow does not want that. And I just love how her story was going. I feel it's definitely one of the top manga that I was so crushed to know that it stopped at 3 volumes, because it was such an engaging read. So I sort of feel like that is going to be my ultimate choice. The only reason I have pause is because I'm the Villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. That is the manga version of this, is what got me into Villainous manga. And I've heard that if you read past what's in the manga, which covers, I think the first 3 volumes cover volume 1 of the light novel, and then we just have that extra spin-off happy story. Everything past that is just as good, just as fun. Everybody says they have such a great time. And I do believe that the series just ended, like the light novels. I think we just had the final volume release, or it's about to release. So I do have some initial pause there, but I don't feel that I was quite as compelled to pick up the light novels as I was The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen. Like, yeah, I've wanted to get the light novels for I'm Taming the Villainess, but I love the manga so much and so happy in town with that I could just stay there. When I finished The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen, like, I genuinely felt that was the biggest time where, and I actually even picked up the light novel several years ago, but I wasn't reading any novels at that time, and past me was like, I'll never come back. Famous last words, Laura. Famous last words. I don't know if my library has the novels, but it's definitely one I would just love to read more of. So I guess, yeah, saying all that, we're gonna lock that one in for my final answer. I feel the most content and happy with this. Villainous Level 99, I didn't connect with the manga, so I don't feel that's something I would gravitate towards. I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down History, I would definitely rather prefer the manga, and My Next Life as a Villainess, I feel like I would probably choose the anime or the manga over the light novel. I'm the Villainess, though, that one would be a very strong and quick runner-up when it comes to all these. So if we look at all my picks of what is my ultimate Villainous starter pack, we have The Villainous Guide to Not Falling in Love, my observation log of my fiance who calls herself a villainess, May I Ask for One Final Thing, I Swear I Won't Bother You Again, Villains Are Destined to Die, and The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen. Those would be my picks for my ultimate Villainous starter pack. I feel really happy when I look at my picks, when I look at the covers, like I'm like, yes, this is what I would choose, this is what I would go with, and so hopefully my picks resonate with you, but even if they didn't, I would just love to know what manga, manhwa, anime, light novel, what would you choose for these categories? Are you happy with the picks that I have? What would you choose? Let me know down below, and if you want to participate in this game, I guess you would say, I'll have the link down below where you can download the graphic, and I'll also be posting on my social media later this week. Truly, thank you so much for watching. I very much hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!